how can I share with people what I feel? How can I give them a nice toolbox that they can use, they can try, and then give me feedback whether or not it's working. So I spent 2 years to learn and to study myself much better.
Mm.
And how do you study yourself? You have to go very deep into all the good parts, but also all the shadows part.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, so you discover a lot of part of yourself that you like, and you discover a lot of part of yourself that you dislike.
Hi, welcome back to the SelfSeed podcast. Now, today, have you ever wondered first and foremost, have you ever wondered that a butterfly can become a dragon? Well, that question, I still have it in my mind as well. But today, in this episode, we are with Matan, and this, I think, is episode 35, right? And we are still doing the visual book tour where SelfSeed, we have partnered with the Activate Core to bring you wonderful works of different authors where we're trying to express the voices to the world, from written to you hearing the concepts behind, hearing the motivation of the books behind. In today's episode, me and Martin, we're going to talk about a butterfly who became a dragon. Now, a butterfly who became a dragon, perhaps is just a cover name, perhaps it's just an idiom, perhaps it's just a phrase, but hopefully you can get the meaning and the inspiration behind this book, and furthermore learn a thing or two about transformation, about change, about personality, about growth, about your adventures as a being. So be sure to tune in, be sure to subscribe, click the subscribe button if you haven't, please. Yeah. And yeah, this episode is sponsored by Activate Core. So be sure to go to www.transformglobalservices.podia.com and see what they can help you with in the transformation journey that you're seeking. This is Emmanuel, and this is the SelfSeed podcast. Welcome. All right. So today again we're with Matan, and welcome Matan to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's a pleasure to be here again. And
Yeah,
thanks so
you're
much
very
for having
much welcome. I'm glad to have you on the podcast again. And as we said, yeah, maybe hopefully one day we'll get a chance. And I guess this is that chance again. And again, I say maybe, hopefully we get another chance to exhaust about a few things. But today we have Matan, and today we are going to talk about the butterfly who became a dragon. Now, you wonder if a butterfly can become a dragon? Well, that's Matan going to tell us how did this tale come to life. Remember that we are listening to the virtual book tour, and this is the last episode of the virtual book tour, and we are going to be with Matan. And yeah, I mean, you guys already know. If you haven't watched, I think on the screen you can see the previous episode where we talked about development models. And yeah, so Matan, welcome again. Maybe for the first time listener, you can introduce yourself, and yeah.
So yeah, thank you again for having me again.
Mm-mm.
And my name is Matan. Originally, I'm from Israel, but I see myself more as international. I have friends from all over the world. I've been living in different places around the world. And
Mm.
in the past 15 years, I've been in China. I started in China when I was doing my internship in traditional Chinese medicine in
Mm.
local hospital in Chengdu. And then I fell in love in China. Later on, I fell in love inside China with a Chinese lady that
Right.
today she's my wife. Uh, and half a year ago, I came back to Israel. We might talk about it later because
Mm.
it's related to the topics about the book.
Right.
So I came back to Israel. And now I'm here. And I would I would like to start from the title
Mm.
because you mentioned the title of the book, The Butterfly Who Became a Dragon. To, when we think about butterfly, we usually think about the caterpillars.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I wanted to embed the message that the same as caterpillar, when they want to become a butterfly, something which is more magnificent
Mm.
and more complex than a caterpillar, they have to cocoon themselves, they have to leave behind
Right.
big parts of their identity and who they've been so they can reborn as something magnificent. But I don't want to compare myself and other people to caterpillars because I think that we are already butterflies. We're already perfect. We're
Mm.
already beautiful. But the same as a caterpillar can do some internal processes to become something more magnificent, I think that as butterflies, when we take the time, we put the effort, we invest in ourselves, we do the work, then we can become something
Yeah.
much more significant, way more powerful. And that is the dragon that is inside each of us. So that's the meaning of the title.
That's good. So like everybody carries something bigger on the inside, right? But although outside we look beautiful, or we may look as we look, as the appearance foretells, but you in your book, it's like you believe that there's a bigger persona, there's a bigger thing inside everyone, and it's unique, right?
Yeah, it's not about the appearance as it is much as in our inner beauty
Right.
and our because appearance changes during time,
Mm,
and it's a subjective matters.
correct.
But our inside, I believe that we are born beautiful, we are born perfect, even though as Les Brown says, we're all born dumb, naked, and, and speechless, right? But
Yeah.
we are born with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Are born with so much potential that during our life
Mm,
we tap to only a small part of this potential,
right.
and we always have more than
Mm,
we think, more than we are aware inside of us. And this book is the journey that I've been through
mm-hmm.
for years, searching and tapping into more and more aspects of my potential, which I believe is everybody has this potential.
Mm,
Okay? All of us have an amazing stuff inside of them. And during these 2 years, I discover more aspects. And it's not just, because we can all think about amazing athletes or people that perform in a very physical way.
mm,
Or we think about people, amazing artists or musicians.
mm,
Uh, there are so many, so some of us will naturally gravitated toward a very specific aspect of
mm-hmm.
life.
Yeah.
And some of us will want to discover more and more and more and more because we have so much more. And we don't have to reach the highest, to the peak of every of these aspects because
Mm,
we probably we don't live enough to do
right.
that, right?
Right.
But journey itself is very rewarding, the
Mm-hmm.
discovery and the benefit that from the journey.
Right.
So I find out that the more I discover about myself, the more I have to discover and the more work I have to do. But at the same time, I find the journey itself very rewarding. I can see how it positively affects my life and the life of those around me. So the journey to become a dragon is more important than becoming a dragon. But we have to start with the aim of becoming a dragon in order
Yeah.
to start this journey.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It does. And uh, usually in this virtual book tour so far, I usually ask people in the first part, I ask them to share about their journey. And I wouldn't ask Matan because you have shared a glimpse of your journey in the previous episode where we talked about development models. But I'm particularly intrigued by one concept that you even write in the summary of the book, that you say through this book you are going to help the reader discover why that you used 42 years to realize that you only needed two to make your life better, right? And this
Yes,
concept, I think, more captivated me to wonder how so? How has it been that 42 years, while you just needed two, for you to realize that your life can be better, you can be happy, or um, so I'm kind of intrigued as to towards gravitated towards that statement, but also I'm learning that the motive of the book is the journey itself. You're narrating your personal journey, and you're trying to show that it is possible. So maybe you can give us a glimpse into that particular aspect that you highlighted.
I can answer it in like 1 or 2 hours, and I can answer it very quickly. So obviously, I'm going to choose the quickest answer.
Yeah.
And that, when you think about a change,
Mm,
especially a significant change in your life,
mm,
there are, when I look around, I see most people,
right.
when do they make a significant change in their life? After after they experience a traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
This traumatic event created some deep fear. And from
Mm,
that fear, that trauma, they found themselves in a place that they either have to raise up and change everything, make it, or die.
yeah.
But there's also another way. And the other way is through awareness,
Mm-hmm.
through choosing, choice, to become aware, make a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and changing. And for 40 years, even though I've been through a lot of trauma,
Right.
none of them being deep enough to make such a big change as the one that I've been in the past, like in the 2 years when I started this journey.
Mm-hmm.
This journey and started this 2 years. So 40 years, I thought I'm okay. I didn't, it was not in my awareness, and nothing, luckily, maybe nothing happened that forced this change. But
Mm,
during COVID, and I spoke about it last time,
yeah.
there, I did become a little bit aware, not as much as myself as I became aware to other people.
Right.
I've seen so many people suffer. I see how hard it was for them.
Mm, mm,
And it made me reflect on myself because I wanted to help other people. But at the same time, I realized that if I don't feel fear, if there's something about the situation that doesn't cause me to be in such a low emotional state, even though my financial state was ruined, and physical state was still, I was training, and my relationship got better and better. So there was something in me that maybe was working okay. Maybe I can share it with other people.
mm,
And I also realized that, wait, but there's also a lot of things that I'm missing. I'm missing knowledge, I'm missing tools, I'm missing, like, how can I share with people what I feel? How can I give them a nice toolbox that they can use, they can try, and then give me feedback whether or not it's working? So I spent 2 years to learn and to study myself much better.
mm,
And how do you study yourself? You have to go very deep into all the good parts, but also all the shadows part.
mm-hmm.
And at the same time, so you discover a lot of part of yourself that you like, and you discover a lot of part of yourself that you dislike. Well, what you do, the part that you like about yourself, great, you can keep on developing and manifest them. But what about the part that you dislike about yourself? And I had many.
Mm.
So then I had to go to outside sources and I studied. I became a learning machine. Every day I read many books, watched many podcasts, and summarized them, studied them. Every time that, while I was training, while I was doing other things, there was always earphone in my head. There
Learning,
was
yeah.
always a screen in front of my, or a book in front of my face, and studying and studying and studying. And what happened is that you become more and more aware. We spoke about last time. We spoke about the models,
Mm-mm.
AK, right? To awareness, knowledge, how we create a change.
Right.
So that's what happened to me. I become more aware of myself, my good and destructive patterns. I became more aware that there are so many stuff that I'm not aware of. So that trigger my motivation to keep on exploring and to look at all of my beliefs and
Mm-hmm.
challenge them. When we act from our beliefs, we narrow ourselves.
Mm.
But when we seek to challenge our beliefs, then there's a bigger chance that we'll discover something new. And I acquire a lot of knowledge. I apply it to myself. I practice a lot every day for hours and hours. Then I saw that things are starting to change, right? And then again, that's how it's. So that was, and after 2 years, I look back. I look back at my relationship
Right.
where I was before in the point of divorce. I saw how I changed myself, and from my change, my whole perspective,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship changed, and how my wife changed without me trying to change her. I looked at my the relationships that I have with other people, the connection. I look at my emotional world. I look at the things that I was capable to do that I never dreamed of before. I saw how my financial state becoming better and better. So everything transformed,
Mm.
but in such a significant way that I can definitely say, okay, this was a rebirth. Like, this is a whole new me. And I'm still in my, you can say, my diapers. Right? I still
Mm.
have so much to go. And the book is just a manifestation of this process
Mm-hmm.
that I've, and it is my way both to teach myself, to remind myself,
Right.
and to share it with others.
Powerful. That's great. That's very nice to know that, your journey can also be valid, especially in helping others rediscover. And that I usually learn something that you don't have to really fail because you can learn from other people's failure and then be able to, go on your journey and become better just through learning through other people's failure. So uh I like the way that you have made this like a manual to look back at your life and say, oh, all this time, there were a few things if I would have done right, then I guess it would have used a shorter time. And this gives someone else a tool that, okay, these are the processes. And I guess if I discover this now, I'm able to go on a long run and be better on a long run. And to the listener, if you're still listening, this is the SelfSeed podcast, and we are doing the visual book tour. And the visual book tour is brought to you by the SelfSeed podcast in collaboration with Activate Core. And Activate Core, they mainly focus on transformation. So do whenever you can visit transformglobalservices.podia.com or www.selfseed.transistor.fm. And back to Matan, I'm wondering, has the journey been smooth enough that you only foretell or you only tell about only the positive sides, or through even the book writing itself? What maybe challenges have you faced, and what have been the, the joyous, the greatest moments that you celebrate through this authorship in the butterfly who became a dragon?
Yeah, I, I use what I learned to
Mm,
write the book
mm,
in terms of motivation, goals, and I realized you have theory and you have practice, and life is dynamic, right?
yeah, yeah.
But consistency and applying
Mm,
everything that I was sharing with people
mm,
helped me to write the book. So I use the tools in the book to write the book, and so it made it easier than other books that I tried to write in the past,
mm,
and I haven't completed. And maybe they're still in the drawer. Maybe one day I'll complete them if I still feel like it.
right.
But it's always a challenging to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
What you put, I wrote this book not in my mother language.
Mm,
So I wrote it in English, and at the same time I translated and wrote it in Hebrew as well.
mm,
And so what do you put inside? How do you articulate better your thoughts? You have to choose what you like. There's so much I wanted to put there,
right.
but you have to leave out a lot of details.
Mm,
Otherwise, you will never. And you write something, you read it, and then maybe you're not very happy with it. So you have to rewrite it
this is
again.
not very good. I don't like.
So yeah, my mom always said, like, after you write a piece, like whether it's for a journal, for magazine,
Mm,
newspaper, or a book,
mm,
leave it for a while
mm,
because you're never gonna be happy with it. Then
mm,
after a while, read it again, and then see how you feel about it, and then maybe do some adjustment. Uh, and I try to follow this.
mm,
And I rewrote this book at least twice,
mhm,
and then I left it. And to be honest, this book was written for me by me. Before it was, I wanted to share with everybody, but,
yeah.
but it's a tool that I use.
Mm,
So the last time, and probably the final version of the book, I just finished it a couple of weeks ago. Because
mm,
as you know, I went back to Israel to take care of
right.
my mom. She had
Mm,
Alzheimer and cancer.
right.
And due to my medical and TCM background, I wanted to be there for her, and I wanted to be the only one or her main caregiver.
Mm,
But that required me and my wife to separate for a while, like for half a year at least, and we're still waiting. So
right.
I came back to a country that was under war by myself, living everything that I care and love there,
Mm,
and being alone and dealing with whoever dealt with Alzheimer knows how hard it is, how
mm,
hard of disease it can be, and cancer, and all of the perfect life that I really had, amazing life that I created in these 2 years.
mm,
It was all challenge. I couldn't train anymore. I lost a lot of weight, and I barely sleep because I had to treat her. I was with her. I didn't sleep for more than 1 hour straight and no more than 3 or 4 hours a night for the first couple of months.
right.
So it was a very challenging in every direction, financially, emotionally, both with my mom and with my wife and my cats and everything.
Mm,
And this is where I started to rewrite the book again, just so I can read it again, just so I can do the work again.
Nice.
And I believe that's what kept me and helped me a lot, because I used the tools inside the book on myself at that time.
Right.
Uh, so the whole process, this half year, I rewrote it again and again. And now I'm happy with it. And I really believe in this book because I know how much it helped me and how much it helped some of the people that I shared it with them.
Mm.
So the journey of writing the book itself was maybe technical, difficult, deciding what to do, rewrite it again, improve the language that had many mistakes. But it was also very, very rewarding to, to do it and to check, is it worth it? Is it real? Or is it just like another, some bullshit someone wrote and never tried it on himself, right?
Right.
And, I gotta say, it's not that these book, I didn't invent anything new here, right? It's not that it's my book, but the knowledge is not mine. It's knowledge that I crafted and I took from all the great teachers out there.
Right.
Yeah, if I had to write this book by myself, it would probably never happen. I'm just a conduct of the wisdom of so many other great people, much greater than me. Uh, but I just put in the books the tools and the wisdom that I found that can have the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
And the book essentially, it's 16 chapters. With every chapter is very specific about one aspect of our life. And then it gives theory, it gives ideas, it gives at the end of it, it gives some tasks. I wanted to make it practical. So we start from the basic mindset, and then I give some ideas of mine about if life is but a game. Then I dive into our core, give model for changing, and changes come from questions. So then I go into questions that can lead to changes, and I talk about self-development and confront people a little bit, the same as I confront myself with success versus excuses.
Right.
And then I'm going inside out, talking about success, talking about creation, give tools about time management and productivity. And then I go into a more, maybe, I don't know, metaphysic, but broader aspect about what is happiness, what is health, how to build habits and routine that support happiness and health, about self-love. And I cannot talk about self-love without talking about forgiveness.
Right.
And at the end, I give a little bit of the more spiritual aspect, and I try to make it down to earth, talking about law of attractions. And the end, I just summarize tools of transformations. I give a list of tools. And this is how I came into it. This is how I done the process myself, and this is how I wanted to share it with the rest of the world.
That's nice. That's nice. I feel like the book is well outlined for a transformational journey. Like when you begin the book to the end, I feel like it will empower transformation, and as it might help turn butterflies into dragons that can eventually take charge or take place, take their part, play their part in the world. So thank you very much for sharing that about the book. And maybe if you have any additional, I mean, this is that moment where you can share how people can support your work, how they can get the book, because I believe someone might be motivated as to grab this tool and add it to my toolkit. for future use. And so maybe, yeah, anything
Yes, sure,
else, and how people can get the book? Yeah.
sure. The book is currently is not is only available through me currently.
Mm.
Is published yet in official channels just because as a beginner author, I found out that I still disagree with a lot of the models that exist today, other than self-publishing and even the self-publishing.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have to create I'll have to create one that I feel okay with.
Right.
But currently, it's only available through me. So anyone who can contact me, you can do it through WeChat if you're in
Right.
China. My WeChat, maybe you can add it later on so people
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
But it's Matan 7.
Mm.
People can join I'm opening a new community,
Mm.
international community. So you'll be able to join there, and maybe later I'll send you the link. And while this episode is published, we can put it. And they can also send an email for this book and connect me. And I'll send you the email, and hopefully people can see it on the screen later. So everybody will be, able to connect me. I'm always looking for feedback to expand, and I always want to connect with my audience. So I'm planning to do some more retreats and
Right.
seminars, and through the magazine. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matan. And for the person who still was wondering who's Matan, Matan is the founder, or is currently the lead. Should I call you the CEO, the director of Human Potential? How
I
do you describe
I
your
op-
role?
I op- I just
Uh,
I open this platform, right?
uh,
Uh,
so
and even
so we
though
should
it's
we
not
should just call you the platform initiator.
exactly, yes, yes. It's same as the magazine, like
Right.
I am the one who started it. I'm the one who designed it and edited it, but the content in the magazine doesn't come from me. It comes from you and other amazing people like you that take the
Right.
time and the effort in doing something voluntarily, right? And so the same.
Right. So yeah, Human Potential. Have you described some of your services on Human Potential? Because I don't recall even in the last episode if you described the services that people can.
Well, I'm slowly changing from the human potential,
Hmm.
even though I really like it, changing more into the connected wellness community because the
Yeah.
human potential is my baby platform. I
Right.
open more groups and platforms. And during the COVID, I did a lot of free webinars where either myself or I hosted other amazing people every week,
Hmm.
sometimes a couple of times a week.
Hmm.
And recently, since I put my focus on other more international, because the human potential is only in China, only in WeChat.
Right.
So I'm seeking to grow off the connected wellness community.
Right.
And there, people can get the magazine. They can do online, digital, or one-on-one or small group programs,
Right.
include programs that I build specifically for the butterfly who became a dragon.
Hmm.
And there's a program about relationship, and all of them from the point of view of self-development. There is people are able to take one-on-one coaching either with me or with other of the so many coaches that I know.
Yeah.
So it's a platform, it's a community where I can connect between people. Everyone who has something to share
Right.
and to contribute is welcome, and anyone who needs support and help and want to grow is welcome. So we can be connected with someone who can help him, and it doesn't have to be me. That's the main service of the human potential and the connected wellness community.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that, Matan. And I I thank you for coming to the podcast today. I thank you for sharing mostly about the book and your journey, correlating how the book has been practical. And I, for one, I think I'll have to get the book. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah,
very much.
you will get one soon.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you
very
so much for having me. Yeah,
Don't mention it. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully, again, we say, hopefully next time we'll have another session where we'll talk about other great things. See, this
I'm
session,
on.
previous sessions, we talk about development models. Today we are talking about transformation, how you know change, and so it's all going to a good direction, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You're doing an
Yeah.
amazing job, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on today, and thank you to the listener, a friend of mine, a colleague, an acquaintance, just a listener. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always being there to support, and I hope you can support also Matan, and you can join his community when it's live, especially the international community, the Connected Wellness. I mean, we already publish magazines in China, so hopefully, yeah, you can also get, maybe in the future, you can also get my fitness contents from Connected Wellness. So be sure to tune in to the Connected Wellness community. Thank you, Matan. It was nice hearing from you and sharing with you.
Have a great day, everybody.